This is the TCRC Community Podcast, and we are live on Facebook. We are live on Instagram, the TCRC Community Podcast, and perhaps in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, we will be live on YouTube Live. And if that doesn't work, we will always be um, taking the Facebook Live videos and turning them into YouTube videos. So you're able to go to Jondhi Harrell, the YouTube channel, the TCRC Community Healing Center, and watch anything that we do on our 3 times a week podcasts, Monday and Wednesday at 9 o'clock, even though it's now 9:09. We're a little late tonight, but we're going to do a 1 hour podcast. And on Mondays and Wednesdays, our subject is the community, mass incarceration, criminal justice reform, all of the things that we do in our daily work in the community. And on Fridays, we talk about relationships between men and women, between mothers and sons, fathers and daughters, siblings, family relationships. And this coming Friday, we have a very special podcast, and we're going to be interviewing Sister Cynthia Muse, and she's going to talk about the relationships between herself and her sons. Sister Cynthia has a very unique story. She has 5 sons. 3 of them are deceased, all due to gun violence. One son is doing life in the penitentiary, and only one of her 5 sons are actually home in the community. So that's her story to tell. But tune in this coming Friday. And on Friday nights, our podcast starts at 8 o'clock. It's from 8 to 9. That gives us a chance to come to you a little bit earlier, and it gives you a chance to have a Friday night after our podcast. So I'm going to now introduce our guest, Brother Jondhi Harrell, and he runs a organization called the Reawakening Agency. And we're going to talk to him about his work in the community and how he's moving things forward. He's involved in the Stop the Violence movement and also in just community building. But as always, before we do our guests, this is a community news and um, community information podcast. So we want to discuss just a couple things that have been going on in the community, which and what happens in the community, what happens in the news. It not only affects us, but we should be observing it. We should have opinions on it. We should be looking at what is the reality of our lives. And just this past week, a woman has been accused of killing her 2 young daughters and her husband before shooting herself. But she did not die. Um, she's now being treated at Ari Jefferson Hospital in Torresdale. And of course, she's going to be charged with 3 counts of murder. She killed her 10-month-old daughter, Demia, her 4-year-old daughter, Maxilla, and she shot her husband, well, not husband, her, I guess the father of her children, Maxell Cinder, and he died on the scene. And then the kids were pronounced dead at St. Christopher's Hospital. And this is a tragedy. Any violence, one of the things we're going to talk about today is stop the violence, but any violence that occurs in the city is a tragedy. And to have violence that involves the killing of children is a special tragedy. Also, one thing that we always do as we start our podcast is to invite people. And pretty soon I won't have to do this myself because we have some new equipment coming and our cameras are going to be facing us, and we're going to have a little live broadcast. And my able and wonderful uh, chief of our crew is going to be able to invite people manually as we have our broadcasts. So that'll be one less thing that the host will have to do. But the reality is, I don't mind inviting people because these are people who are regular listeners, regular viewers, and they support the work that we are doing. And it's important that we understand that this work, this podcast, the work we're doing in the community, could not be done without the support of folks who tune in, who are cognizant of what we're trying to do, and they share our videos and comment and speak about the things we're doing. And that is extremely important that folks support us. And it's also very important that we support the organizations in our community. One thing that we don't do on a level that should be done is support grassroots organizations either financially or by coming to their events or spreading information and just saying that this is a brother or sister or this is the organization that is doing good work in my community. And whatever they do, whenever possible, we're going to assist with that. Why is that, brother?
Well, I think a lot of it is because the one thing that I've seen for myself is that the people that are close to you sometimes they take you for granted because they see you every day and they like they're around you every day and they're the ones that kind of like he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, but at the same time you get more support from outsiders than you do from people that's close to you. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. But me personally, I just don't let it discourage me. I keep on going because the more people see you put in that the work ethic, like the more they'll start backing you. But I think that's something that like in the community that I see from time to time. I mean, like it's our friends and our family, the people that we think that's supposed to support us, like they really don't. And it's outsiders. I mean, we take me for example. Like when I met you, I mean, you supported me. I walked into your office, and you, from day one, you supported me. You didn't know me from a can of paint. So I think that's what has to stop. We have to support the people who we know that are doing the right thing. Support them because like we need that.
Yes, most definitely. We definitely need that. And I would definitely echo that sentiment. As I travel through Philadelphia, I see so many organizations, so many individuals, so many people who are doing good things. And one of the things that I've been saying for a while is one, we don't speak enough, we don't acknowledge enough, we don't reach out to those around us. Now, my family's from the South, and most folks are from the South. I mean, whether or not they admit it or, whether or not they think about it, very few black people in this country don't have roots in the South. And I grew up in a black neighborhood where you knew everybody, so just speaking to people was a natural thing. We would never think of walking down the street, and not saying hello to Miss Bowles or, Miss Herder or, you know, anybody that you met. You were, as a young person, if you didn't speak, you know, trust your Rudy dial phone would have got a phone call, you know, uh, your son walked past me today and ignored me, I mean, what are you raising over there? But um, many times when I'm walking down the streets of Philadelphia and you speak to somebody who you're a stranger to, they look at you like you've lost your mind.
They look at you like
Do you
you're
find that?
crazy. They look at you like you're crazy because that's just what's not happening nowadays, unfortunately. And I think that we need to go back to our roots, to how it used to be. I think that a lot of us we come from we come from respect, but we've grown up to just feel as though we just want to go our own way and do our own thing. But as you can see in the community, you see where that has gotten us, and we're just going down the wrong path. And me personally, like you said, sometimes I'll just speak to someone that I know I don't know, that I know that I might not see again, but it's just the fact that like they see a young black African American man that's being cordial, like that's being respectful. Even when I see my elders, like I'll hold the door for them. I
Yes.
like it's just certain things. It's just the little things that counts that just we just don't do. That goes a long way. You never know what that person has been going through that day, and you just speak to them, and they just say, "Wow,
Yeah.
that just made my day." He didn't even know me.
You make them feel like they're part of the community.
I'm telling you.
And I do more than that. I talk to people. You know,
Right.
I was staying on the train coming down here from Trenton, and I've been looking. Although I live in Southwest, you know, I've been I live in a house, and I like the house I live in, you know, but I don't own it, you know, and I'm looking to buy some property that I want to lease out, you know, to create some income. But I've also been looking at apartments because I like apartment style living. You know, I like to. I'm really looking for a really classy, you know, 1 bedroom apartment. I'm in the 3 bedrooms now, but I find when you have too many bedrooms, you have too many visitors. And I got 15 grandkids, and I'll tell you, I'm tired of folks, you know, coming to stay for a couple of days and you know, damn near be living with you, you know. So I'm going to downsize, get a really nice apartment, and as I look at really nice apartments across the city, you know what I'm finding?
What's that?
All the nice apartments are in South Philly.
South Philly?
In South Philly, because of I mean, you probably haven't looked at the market recently,
Okay.
you know, but the really nice apartments with, like, my definition of a really really nice apartment is a serious kitchen and a serious bathroom.
Right,
You know,
right. Okay.
you can fix up a living room or, you know, a bedroom, but I mean, a bathroom has to be top flight, and the appliances in your kitchen have to be serious, you know, and then you can build, you know, your life around that.
Right.
And due to gentrification
Mm.
and, you know, realtors and investors, it seems like Ori down in South Philly,
Hmm.
you, has some serious properties, and his properties. I mean, you know, say what you want about him as a politician, but as a developer, he's given up quality living for, you know. I mean, some of the prices are a little pricey, but it's a serious apartment.
Right. You get what you pay for.
Yes, you know, it's my thought process is, how come nice apartments like this aren't spread out over the whole city? You know, because really, I'm not from South Philly. You
Right.
know, so I'm trying to move to South Philly. I really feel like, you know, to live well in South Philly, you need to have been born there.
Okay.
You know, because
Grassroots.
yeah, South Philly is one of those neighborhoods in Philly that think South Philadelphians think that Philadelphia ends at City Hall, and everything south of City Hall is Philly, and the rest of that shit ain't nothing.
Right. It's nothing.
You know, so
I mean, well, look at the way they park. You know.
yes, nobody parks like they park in South Philly. You know, South Philly parks sideways
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
middle of the street. I mean, they
Yeah.
do what they want to do
That's
down
right.
there,
They look at you like
and
you crazy
and
if you try to do anything else other than what they're doing.
dare a policeman to give them a ticket too. You know, it is what it is. You know,
Right.
so
Right. Right. That's what make the world
if you got it like that, you do it like that.
go round.
So getting back on track, brother. Explain to our listeners, you know, what your organization is about, and what you're planning on doing, and then we're going to have a conversation about, you know, the violence in Philadelphia, you
Right.
know, the community in general. But first, I want our listeners to know, what is the reawakening.
But the reawakening agency, first of all, when someone says someone has reawoken or reawakened, it's because they were once asleep or they were once not woke, so to speak. Um, I can put myself in that predicament, and then I can walk in those shoes because I was once sleepwalking. You know what I mean? And literally, being incarcerated, coming home, and just seeing what needed to be done, just viewing
Right.
the terrain of just my community and viewing the terrain of this society. Um, I wanted to come home and make a difference. I wanted to come home and kind of like, because everyone says that when a person comes home from being incarcerated that they're going to go back, like, like, oh, they're
Mm,
not going to do right, they're going to go back. That whole thing didn't sit with me.
mm.
And me personally, I love proving people wrong.
Okay.
So I said, how can I prove them wrong, and come home and win back my community, um, win back my family, my friends, and just show them the new Radi.
Okay.
So I just I came up with this name called the Reawakening. So I said the Reawakening Agency. So I said, wow, that's different. And I started to go into salons and barbershops and things of that nature and tell them about what I was doing in my community. And this
Okay.
is this is this is this is in my community, the same community that I once tore down. I had to go back and reintroduce myself as the new man, the changed man. The elders, like you were speaking about, go to them and say, wow, like, I'm back. They say, oh, you coming home now? Yeah, but in the back of their mind, when I first came home, they're looking at me like he's gonna do the same thing. But I
That you
showed
always did.
right. So I started just putting donation boxes in these places, salons, libraries in my neighborhood that people can put in toiletries, soap, deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, things of that nature for people that's just coming home. Like 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 myself, when I came home, the bare minimums can go a long way.
Yes.
So I wanted to just restore my community with who I was again, and I wanted to get back into um, being the person that I always thought that I could be, but I never dug deep down inside, and I never um, found enough heart to just be a changed man and go my own way.
Okay.
And as we sit here today, my organization, we have a nice following. We're on social media. We got close to 1,000 followers on social media.
Okay.
Um, I've also started to go back inside of the prisons. Um, SCI Phoenix, we do a program called the Man Up program. So I'm acclimated. Imagine going back inside of the prisons where you once was and going to speak to the gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
It's bittersweet, but at the same time, I know that I was spared. My life was spared for me to go back and let these guys see that, hey, you can come home and you can do the right thing.
That's extremely important.
Very
It's
important.
extremely important to be able to, um, one, go back into a prison where you serve time, and deal with the brothers who you used to work out in the yard with, who you used to, vibe with, whose lives you share.
Right.
During the time that I was incarcerated, we literally raised our kids together, and we became a family inside of the joint.
Yeah.
So to have that impact is powerful, but even more powerful is to come home and make a way for those in the community, and to say, this is what I'm doing now. You know, this is something new. This is something powerful. This is something different, and I am no longer that person who you knew before. You know, I've acquired some wisdom and some knowledge that I want to share.
Right.
And the young brothers and the young sisters who come into my circle can be impacted so that they don't have to walk down the same paths that we walk down.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's extremely powerful.
I think it's a difference when you're standing in front of people and you look just like them, and you look just like them, and you talk just like them, and you walk just like them, but at the same time you're telling them and you're showing them, listen, like, you can do it, and you're instilling inside of them, and you're pouring inside of them all the things that you have inside of you. Like, I've done time, I've been in the halfway houses, but at the same time I came home, and I didn't, like I always tell people, when you come home, you have to earn that respect back from your community. You have to earn
Yes.
that. You have to earn that. A lot of people come home and they feel as though the things are going to be given to them. No, you have to earn it.
Or they feel somebody owed them something because they did time.
Exactly, and that's not true. That's not true. Society is set up for you when you do come home. It's traps.
Yes.
It's traps. It's set up for you to go back. But I always tell people, if you see the trap, that means you got one up on that trap because you see it.
Yes. And I want to make two things perfectly clear. That one, atonement is very important and very powerful. You talked a little earlier about, you came back to the same neighborhoods that you basically helped tear down.
Right.
And that's important. It's important for those of us who sold drugs, who robbed banks, who shot people, who caused chaos
Hmm.
in our neighborhoods, to come back and say, I'm taking responsibility for my actions. When you sell drugs, you have no idea of the concentric circles of pain and misery that you're spreading out throughout your community. You owe for that.
Right.
You have to atone for that. There are folks' lives who you impacted that you don't even know. So you come home talking about, I want to make a difference. First, you need to make a difference in the lives of those who you impacted in the past. And that's also your family.
Right.
Because when you spend time away from your family, your parents get old, you know, your kids grow up, your siblings and your friends and your cousins are moving on with their lives. These are folks whom you could have had a serious impact on and you didn't. So it's extremely important for us to look at how can we atone for the things we did in the past and do some real good.
Right.
And we have that knowledge and we have that power because we did our time. We ain't telling nobody. We ain't no hot ass people,
That's right.
And that's important.
Say that again.
Yes, we ain't part of the hot boy crew.
Listen. Woo.
And although folks who are ordinary citizens may not understand the impact of that.
Right.
But here's the reality. When you consciously do criminal activity, you are choosing a lifestyle. I have never for one day cried about the 25 years that I did it of incarceration, because every day I did was a payment for all the wrong that I did and for all the good times I had. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, in the criminal lifestyle, there's a lot of times when you seriously, turning it up, whatever you want to call it now, you're living your life. All right. And when you live that lifestyle, everything comes with a cost. But the reality is, when you are living a criminal lifestyle and you fall by your goddamn self.
Yeah.
Don't be sitting up in them offices making no tapes.
That's right.
You ain't Marvin Gaye. You ain't James Brown. Stop recording that shit. Stop making a studio for the police. Stop trading your life or somebody else's life for your life. Understand who you are and stand by that gangster code and do your time day for day and do not cooperate, do not snitch. So when brothers with that mindset and attitude come home, we have to be respected because we are the original gangsters. And we live by a code that oftentimes is not honored today. Niggas be snitching for a Big Mac and fries. Come on, man. Just because the police feed you in the station, they can get you to talk about some shit you shouldn't be talking about. And that's the reality. What about what? Well, listen. One thing you have to understand, all right? My brother Drew talked about civilians. There's a difference. When those of us who are real gangsters talk about snitching, we're talking about two entirely different things. If you're talking about civilians, like Miss Mary sitting on the porch, witnessing the shooting, she ain't snitching. She's reporting the news as she's seen it. She's a witness to a murder. But if Brother Radia and I are involved in criminal activity,
right,
and we consciously commit something that we chose to do, we're making a pact between us
right,
that this is what we're going to do, and ain't nobody telling. So if we get caught, or if one of us gets caught and he tells on the other, that's snitching. That's breaking the code.
yeah,
This boy, 6'9", he's a snitch. He's a rat.
Woo.
He told on everybody who he knew.
Yeah,
That's some sucker shit.
right,
We don't condone that. Just because we're community activists now, just because we're doing the right thing, just because we're moving in ways that can't be assailed, we don't sanction no hot ass bullshit that young boys be doing, and they think that everything is okay. So when that boy come home, if somebody put 4 or 5 in the back of his head, you ain't never gonna find no real gangsters saying nothing about that. We ain't condoning murder. We ain't condoning violence. But we understand it clearly because he crossed the line and he broke the code. Whatever time he was going to do, he should have been in his cell, writing 10 years worth of new raps, came home, 10, 15 years from now and do whatever he's going to do. He should have never told on all the people that he told on.
Right.
And that's how I feel about that.
Simple as that. And just to piggyback off of that, I think that in this lifetime, all you got is your name, and all you got is your word. Like I'm telling you, a good name will get you a far in life.
Even the Bible tell you that.
To get you far in life. And I just want to get like for the people, like what do y'all think out there? I mean, does a good name, like what does your name get you out here? Like, and that's in the workforce, that's in everyday life. I mean, when you treat people good, and when you live by, because everyone has standards. Every individual has standards. I don't care who you are. You stand for something. They say stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So everyone wakes up and they like, listen, I got a goal that I'm gonna accomplish today. This is how I'm gonna do it. Nothing's gonna get in my way. You have to keep a good name if you want to get places in life. If my name wasn't good, I wouldn't be sitting right here.
Yes.
Period.
That's real.
Let's keep it 100.
Because a hot ass nigga can't sit in the seat.
No,
I mean,
it's
I'm gonna be real. Not on my podcast.
Right. Right. You know what I mean? I won't be able to go to South Philly, West Philly, and go to halfway houses in North Philadelphia and talk to people and pass out toiletries and all like that. I won't be able to do that. Now, I mean, freedom is priceless, and having a good name is even more priceless.
So, Brother Malik Long says 6ix9ine is a prime example. He snitched and now he paid and has a record contract. Don't let that fool you. Understand that all money ain't good money. Just because he snitched and he got $10 million record contract,
right? Right.
But he got to live to spend that money. And if there's any justice in the world, I mean, he snitched on some serious people.
Right.
You cannot believe that he's going to live a long and happy life after the pain he's inflicted on those who trusted him,
right,
took care of him, and saw him as a brother.
Right.
And that's the reality.
And people got to understand. People looked at him like he was family. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was the gang life. Like that's
yes.
family. Like they really took to him. I mean, and he has affected not only these individuals, but these people got kids. Like these people got wives. These people entrusted in him. Like, so it's deeper than that. People look at the entertainment side. I mean, what about the people who you don't see that's suffering?
Yes.
That's what gets me. And like you said, he has to lay his head down at night and he has to face them demons of what he done.
Well, my thought is brothers like that don't be losing no sleep. I mean, if you can sing a song like that in harmony with the police, you ain't losing no sleep. I mean, because you think you're invincible and you think nothing's gonna happen to you.
Right.
But nothing can be farther from the truth. That's how long did you do inside?
I did 3.5 years inside. 3.5 years.
And where'd you do it at?
I was up SCR retreat. But of course, you go through Graterford, then you go through Camp Hill. And when I went through Graterford, it wasn't the Graterford now. Graterford is the new Graterford now. But back,
it's Phoenix.
Yeah, it's Phoenix now. So I feel as though that whatever I went through, it was meant for me to see. It was meant for me to go through because it made me who I am right now.
Okay.
So and I always tell people like this. My son was born when I was incarcerated.
Mine too.
So that right there, when you on the phone and you hear your girl say, "Oh, like I'm pregnant," and then you just starting your bid. You know what I mean? So certain things you just got, like you said, you just got to take it on the chin.
Yes.
You got to take it on the chin. I knew what the thing is. I knew when I came home I was going to be great. I was going to be better than the Radi I was when I was home.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I always tell people, don't never discount when you took the fall, because the fall is what made you get up and be stronger. If you allow it to. I allowed it to.
Yes.
I allowed it to. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. So I
always go back to the church, man, because the church is like the foundation of Black life.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of that song, "We fall down, but we get up."
We get up.
I mean, that's real.
We get up. That's real. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. I was, of course, when you're incarcerated, you're around the Muslims, you're around the Jews, you're around Israelites, Seventh-day Adventists, you're around all the people. And I was cool with everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a difference between being Joe Familiar, and just being a cool cat that people just respect. You know what I'm saying? And that was just me, and it carried over with me coming home. Like that's what I always was. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Right.
I always got along with people.
What
You
is
know what
your
I'm saying?
spiritual bent though?
Oh, I'm Christian.
Christian.
I'm
Okay.
Christian. I'm Christian.
All
I go to
right.
church, grew up in the church, got a family that's Muslim, friends that's Muslim, you know, and the thing is, I always tell people, religion gives you direction.
Yes.
It gives you direction. It's not about, oh, he's this and he's that. It gives you direction. And it also should make you fear for just doing certain things. Like I always, when I go up to Phoenix, I tell the guys, I say, listen, you in the masjid praying next to your brother, or you in the church singing next to your brother, clapping your hands, but then you turn around, you talk about them, and then if you're in the street, you trying to rob them or kill them.
Yes.
Your fear must first start with God. If you don't fear God, what else are you going to fear in life? And that ain't even being religious. That's being real.
Yes. Well, I'm a Rastafarian Quaker, which
Okay.
is unusual, but Rastafari believes that in universal truth,
Okay.
which means that in every spiritual belief system there is some truth, you know. And the reason I can be a Rastafarian and a Quaker is that the belief systems are so similar.
Okay.
Rastafarians believe you don't need no church, that you communicate directly with Jah, and your communion is between God and the human.
Right.
And the Quakers believe that your life is your ministry. You know, we don't have a pastor, a minister, or an imam. The the connection is between the creator and the individual.
Right.
And in our services, there's no sermon. It's a silent meditation. And then when the spirit hits somebody, they rise and they speak. You know, often it's profound. Sometimes it's ordinary,
Right.
but it's from people's hearts.
Exactly.
I say that the Quakers are Rastafarians with no rhythm.
Right. Right.
But it's
Right.
all the same. I mean, it's all the
It
same
all
flow.
balance out at the end of the
Yeah,
day. Yeah. Yeah.
because it's about belief and it's about how you treat people. You know, it's not about um, what you believe God's name is, or whether the life of Jesus was the example for all of us.
Right.
None of that matters. What matters is how you take what you believe and you translate it to your everyday life and the lives of those who are around you.
Mm.
And that's what's real.
That's right. That's right. And to just add on to that, it's all about when it's all said and done. What is your legacy going to be?
Yes.
What is your legacy going to be? What are people going to remember you as? Like who was like Radi? Like what did Radi do? Like who was he? Who was he? Who was he? And that's my whole thing. When I wake up every day, I live not to live for other people, but I also live knowing that I'm not gonna be here for forever. So with my kids, when they grow up, what are people gonna say about their dad? You know what I
Yes.
mean? That's the thing too. It's not about just us. It's not about just us. So I think a lot of times we have to take that self-centeredness out of us and understand that we're here for not just us. We're here to better ourselves, but also to better our families and people around us.
So one of the things that I truly believe, in addition to my community activist, I'm a historian, and I'm really immersed in our culture, you know, as African people. And one thing that we have really gotten away from is in African culture, the community came first.
Hmm.
It was the community. It was your a clan or tribe or nation, and then it was the family,
Right.
and then it was the individual. This is why in many African societies, no prison was necessary
Hmm.
because just the weight of the disapproval of the people who you grew up with, who you loved, who you cherished, would not make you transgress against them. And the ultimate punishment was being exiled from those whom you love, being cast out of society. But as a people, when we came to a capitalistic, Eurocentric, European dominated lifestyle where individualism and materialism is the key, we begin to lose the principles and the values that we honor for so many centuries, really for thousands of years.
Right.
We allowed ourselves to become influenced by standards that we should never have adopted. So many times when you walk in the black community, it's not really a black community. It's a homogenized community that has adopted values that don't really belong to us. And that's why we have so many problems as a people.
Right.
And because we aren't being true to what black people should be believing, should be doing, should be creating.
And just to piggyback off of that, I think that when we go back to our roots, when we think about it, and we go back to our true core values, we will begin to see that we weren't created to. First of all, we were not created to be behind bars and behind cages. That's for animals.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
let's be clear.
And it's not even for animals,
Yeah,
That's why I don't like to go to the zoo, because I think a zoo,
right,
I mean, me and my kids beef because they love the zoo,
right.
But I think zoo is nothing but a highly decorated penitentiary for
I
animals.
got you. I got you. I got you.
Say what you want to say.
Right, right, right,
Philadelphia Zoo is a penitentiary.
right. And that's real. The only reason why a lot of animals are behind in cages because they can kill you.
True.
Because that's their
But
instincts.
take them back to where they're supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Right. Don't hold them captive in places that they're not used to.
Let me watch lions on National Geographic. I'll do that all day.
Right.
Listen, they would be going extinct if human beings weren't hunting them. I mean, let's be real.
Okay. Yeah.
Animals always been here, and they're going to keep on multiplying, and they're going to keep on moving forward. Man is the reason that animals become extinct.
Right.
It is what it is. Go ahead with your thought, though.
No, I was just saying, like, I just think that when we just go back to who we were originally, like the origin of the black man, of the black woman, of Africans in general, I think that we will find that we were not created to worship. I call them creature comforts, cars,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
money, jewelry. I think a lot of times we base our happiness off of what we have.
Yes.
What we have.
No doubt.
I mean? Like that right there is very important for certain people. What do I have? Because whatever I have, it makes me feel like I'm empowered. We should feel like we're empowered. We ain't got nothing in our pockets because it's about what's going on in the inside. You can fake the outside.
So does what you have make you who you are?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because before we came here, we didn't have anything.
Yes.
And we were happy. But like you said, when people start showing you things and when people start, teasing you with things, so to speak, in front of your eyes, and you think that like that's going to get you certain places and that's going to make you happy, then you begin to take on that lifestyle that and that thinking. But no, that's things shouldn't make you feel good. Things should make you feel good. It just shouldn't. But I think life itself should make you feel good. Yes. Natural. Just to be able to walk out here and just stand in the middle of the street. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, just the little things. And I've grown accustomed since I've been home to realize that, especially when I go back inside of the penitentiary, and
you
these
see
guys,
that,
and these guys have been down for 40, 50 years. 40, 50 years. You talk about incarceration, death by incarceration.
That's mass incarceration.
That's mass incarceration.
Yes. No question.
I was talking to a brother who has been down, his name brother Chuck Logan.
Okay.
Brother Chuck Logan of SCI Phoenix, 50 years. 50 years.
And because he's not a juvenile lifer, he has no expectation of coming home.
Exactly. And like I'm having conversations with these guys and they're telling me that they are living vicariously through me. It blows my mind, man. It blows my mind that if that's not the way to rehabilitate.
No,
it's not.
And on that level, I'd like to talk very briefly about the bill that Senator Street is sponsoring and the opposition that is coming from victim services.
Right.
Now, as a formerly incarcerated person, um, I have to give honor to and respect to the families of victims.
Yes.
When you lose a loved one to murder, it has a profound impact upon your family. And I lost my young cousin, Manny, 2 years ago. He got shot in Frankfurt, shot 3 times. All the boy was doing was selling weed in Frankfurt, in a neighborhood where he didn't grow up in.
Right.
He's making a little paper, and young boys wasn't with it.
Right.
And they shot him in the head, the neck, and the chest. And to this day, nobody's ever been arrested for it. But I say that to say, while I understand the pain of losing someone that you love, at what point does redemption come?
Mm.
At what point can we say that this person who committed that murder has suffered enough and their family has suffered enough,
Right.
and they deserve a chance at restarting their life? Now, we're taking into account that, the victim's family say, yes, well, you're still living and my loved one is gone.
Right.
That's the reality. And we're never going to discount that or seek to denigrate the emotions or the feelings of families who have lost a loved one to gun violence. That's real.
Right.
And the work that both you and I do in the city on to stop the violence definitely turns our heart toward those families. I had a mother coming here just last month whose son's been gone 6 years, and to her that grief is like yesterday. She missed her son every day,
Right.
and ain't nothing you can tell her that's going to. I mean, we sat here for an hour talking, and her pain is still raw after 6 years. So there's no way to assuage the grief of losing someone you truly love. But the reality is that the family of the shooter, you know, after 20, 25, 30, 35 years, at what point do we say they have paid that cost and they should have a chance to live again, have a chance to come back in society and seek some redemption, do some atonement? Maybe their lives and the pain and suffering they caused and the experiences that they've gone through can deter some other young boys from making that bad critical decision and pulling that trigger and causing irreparable harm to more families. When are we going to use that the powerful lives and experiences of lifers to help change our communities? And a lifer coming home being an example to young boys in their community is a powerful statement. I mean, if I had been like 16, 17, 18 years old, and a brother who had done 40 years came to me and said, yo, listen, man, in a couple of years, you're going to be in the penitentiary.
Mm.
I might have listened to him. And I might not have spent 25 years in the penitentiary. And there's a lot of young boys all across Philly with some dangerous mentalities who need to be mentored, who need to be schooled,
Right.
who need to have lifers in their life. And that's the reality.
That's real. That's real. And to speak to that, when I go up to Phoenix and they got the man up, they have the man up program, and you have these lifers. I think they, excuse me, that alone is they're putting themselves in position to show society and to show the district attorney's office and to show Krasner and those people, the people who have the like the power to change certain things when it comes to these guys, to show them that hey, we have the answer. We have the answer because we're the ones that actually done certain things that got us where we're at. Like that's what they're saying. They're understanding that. They're taking that full responsibility of what they've done. But after 30 years, after 40 years, after 25 years, let me show you how I can help the community by coming home and engaging with the youth and engaging with the elders, coming home and becoming street captains and block captains.
Yes.
And coming home Like myself, being incarcerated, coming home and showing my community that I can do it. Look at me, I can do it.
And you can do the same thing just like me.
I'm no different.
Yes.
I'm no different than nobody. I make one false move today, I'm going right back. Believe that.
Ain't no doubt.
Believe that. So, but at the same time, I'm doing everything that I have to do to put myself in a position to win, because I know I have to be out here for the brothers that don't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be out here for them, because I have to be the example that when you do come home, you can put yourself in a position to win. Period. Okay. You can do it. I'm winning right now, sitting next to you. I'm winning.
I feel you.
This is winning. Like, I mean, I'm just keeping it real. It's winning. It's not about what's in my pocket. It's not about what I'm driving. It's about what impact am I making on my community, and what impact am I making on my brother that's sitting next to me.
Yes.
Period.
And on the brothers who, listen to you on the gram,
right.
Listen to us on YouTube Live or on Facebook Live.
Feel this energy. This
yes.
Like, this is real. This is real, man. This is real. And I think that when people see us sit together and talk about positive things and putting that positive, because you can put positive energy in the world. Yes. You can put, I believe in it. I believe
negative.
Yeah, or negative.
You can do either one.
Right. I believe in speaking things into existence also. And you can put that positive energy in the world, and people can grasp onto that. Like, as we sitting here right now, they're grasping to that. I see the people putting up their signs of love and all like that. The comments, they loving it.
Yes.
They love it, because you know why? It's not enough of it.
True that. And speaking of comments, I just want to acknowledge my brother Hambo Cologne, who just made a comment. And this is a brother who I did time with in the feds. And he's been home for some years, and he's had some struggles, but one thing he was commenting on is the death of his sister. He had a baby sister who died by gun violence, and all during the time we was bitten together, man. I mean, like, I could see the pain in his eyes and in his heart, and he loved his little sister. And I know there's not a day that goes by that he don't think about her. And when I talk about, family situations, we honor and respect that.
That's right.
But even he says, I still don't wish prison on nobody. Here's a brother who lost someone that he loved more than anybody, and he's still not looking for a life bit, for those who transgressed in that manner. And many families have come to the realization that on the other side of that shooting, that's a family in pain too.
That's right.
That's a family who has lost their loved one forever for a moment of senselessness.
That's right.
And when you talk to lifers and they talk about the crime that brought them to prison, many of them sincerely regret that to their soul.
Right.
And they wish they had never been in that situation where they took a life. So when you come to the realization that this is how a person is feeling, this is how a person is living, then you have to believe that at some point in their lifetime, redemption has to be an option.
Right.
And legislators, lawmakers, politicians have to stop pandering for votes and be real and say, if I'm elected by the people and this is the wish of the people, then we have to do something that is going to bring home people.
That's right.
And you have several thousand lifers who are incarcerated in Pennsylvania. You have lifers all across the country who deserve a second chance. That's right. If America is supposed to be a land of second chances, and our society is supposed to embrace, life, liberty, and happiness, then bring a measure of contentment to those families who have suffered for so long, supporting their families inside. And that's the reality.
That's right. That's right. And like you were saying, like speaking to the gentleman who made the comment about he don't wish, prison.
My brother Hambo.
And I appreciate that comment. That was powerful. That was powerful. And it also shows how far he has come as a person.
Yes.
To forgive.
Because I remember times when he wanted to murder everybody who was involved with that.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. And
I ain't lying
real.
about that.
And that's
You
real.
know?
And that's real. And speaking to the man up program, I keep talking about that because you have a brother by the name of Tyree Wallace, and
Okay.
and you have a brother by the name of Benny Do, who are the founder and the co-founder of Man Up. And Tyree, he's 20 something years in, Benny Do 35 years in, and these guys every Saturday they put together a program. They put together a program for, I'm talking about when I first started going up there to SCI Phoenix, I say it was about 150 guys in the auditorium. Now, just like year two, it has grown to be probably close to 350 men that gather every Saturday in this facility. And it's amazing. So just imagine the lives that's going to be changed by those guys getting a 15-week course, crash course from guys who have been down for more than
30,
half
40
their
years.
lives. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes.
I tell them that's priceless knowledge.
Yes.
That's priceless knowledge. And so the fact
You
that
couldn't pay for that knowledge.
you couldn't pay for that. You couldn't pay for that.
That's real.
You couldn't pay for that. So the fact that they tell me, Radi, we want you to be the liaison. We want you to be our liaison. Now these guys don't have to do nothing but do their time. We want you to be the liaison out here. We want you to be our vote,
Our voice.
our voice,
Mm-hmm.
and let the people know this is what we doing out here. And let them know, listen, we fighting to come home because we know that we can make a difference in these streets. We know that we can make a change in these streets. We know it. And I believe they can. I believe they can. And I know they can. Because I see these guys. I see them. I talk to them. I talk to them on the phone. When I go up there face to face, you can just see it in their eyes, man. Like, we just want one more chance. We want one more chance. Like we want to go home and show these young guys that, listen, you don't want to go back up there.
Yes.
You don't want to go in there. I'm telling you, that's not made for us. Stay home with your families. Be kings. And
a lot of young boys just ain't built for that.
They not.
Not in this day and age.
And I'm gonna tell you. I told these guys up there. I said the reason why a lot of these women are getting hurt. Because the kings are not around. When you remove the king, the queen is exposed. When you remove the king, the queen is exposed. We got to be home. We got to be home around our families. We got to be home around our children. That's what we were created to do. We were created to be protectors. How are we going to protect when we're behind bars? How are we going to protect?
All right.
How? We got to make better decisions. That's how.
Yes, most
we got to
definitely.
make better decisions and have that discernment. That word discernment means you gotta have those. You gotta think. You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta see it before it happens. I'm telling you, and that's why I'm gonna continue to just fight for these guys, man. Man up. I love these guys, man. I love these guys, man. I'm telling you, got a lot of love for them because I know I was there. You was there.
Yes.
You know how it is.
Without a doubt.
You can just sit back and do your time, and just say the hell with everything. I'm gonna just do my time and come home. But no, these guys take it upon themselves to say, man, we believe that we can instill something in these young guys that's coming up here to stop coming up here.
Yes.
And make a difference in their community.
So we have a brother who joined us on Instagram Live. Now we're on, 3 platforms. We're on YouTube Live, we're on Facebook Live, and we're on Instagram Live. Right. So the folks who are on Instagram, hear what the brother's getting ready to say. But as you speak, you got to give us, a moment to transmit your words to the rest of the folks on other platforms. So you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. It's the city, man. City.
You're breaking up.
Say that again, brother.
Say it again.
He's breaking up.
Yeah, he's freezing.
Yeah, he's freezing.
He's screen is freezing.
Too.
Unfortunately, you keep on freezing on the screen, bro. You talk, but ain't no sound coming out. We gotta.
I would love to hear what you gotta say. Wow, yeah. Man.
Well, and I'll tell you, we are. Yeah, we can see you. We just can't hear you too well. You know, but we just heard that. Try to say something. Instead of saying, "Can you hear me?" Just yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so you're saying, all right. So what the brother's saying is he doesn't wish jail on anybody, you know, but he's pointing to the fact that you just can't have, you know, folks doing horrible crime.
Right.
So let me speak for a minute about that. Being a community activist, all right, there's a lot of folks who are in our circle who call themselves prison abolitionists. And what that means is they want to abolish prisons. Now, for those of us who have been in, well, let me say this. I rarely meet prison abolitionists who actually did time in prison.
Okay.
Most of them are folks who never been to prison. So they don't understand that prison is not only a place where many folks are unjustly imprisoned, prison is also a place where some folks who should never come home live.
Right.
I mean, when you can rape, murder, or mutilate a little kid, or systematically abduct women and murder them,
Right.
when you are a serial killer, child rapist, or a mass murderer, you belong in prison. What we've been talking about is redemption. Folks who committed an act, maybe they made the single most worst mistake of their life.
Right.
We ain't talking about multiple murders. If murder was your day job, we ain't talking about you. We're talking about people who made a mistake and they've spent 20, 25, 30, 35 years not only regretting that mistake,
Right.
but doing work behind the walls that balance the scales of justice. Yeah. So let brother Adi speak to that. Mm-hmm. All right, so hold on. Let brother Adi speak to your question.
So
Go ahead.
So the brother he's saying that, you know, why has it been like society has like why is like the woman is being so vulnerable, generalized, like, you know what I mean, why are we attacking the women out here, why are we preying on the kids? And I say that's to say, how about back in the day where, you know, you had a sister or you had a cousin who was a female or anybody, and you would know that they was going to work at night, you would walk them to the bus stop, you know what I'm saying, something like that, or you know, you would walk them to the store. I think that we have to, as a community, we have to start making our presence known as men, yes, that we're going to be more vigilant. You know what I'm saying? That we're going to be more vigilant in our communities. Imagine if we were to just be seen more instead of being heard more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, let's see you out there doing the right thing. Because not only am I talking it, I'm
Let's
living
make an
it.
example.
Let's make an example.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can say things until you're blue in the face, but what are you actually out there doing that's backing up your words? You understand what I'm saying? So I think that as a community and as a society, men need to be more seen and not seen standing on the corner and not seen hanging out, not doing the right thing, waiting for the cops to harass us. We need to be seen embracing our sisters,
Doing some good work.
doing some good work in the community. Because the more people see that, the more they're going to have respect for us as a race in
Yes.
general, and as
a community.
and as a community.
All right. So the Instagram
It's jumping, huh?
ended, because Instagram's only a certain time,
Right.
and we're actually out of time for our YouTube live and our Facebook live.
Man, we gotta go.
Yeah, we go for an hour, and I would definitely like to thank Brother Radi for coming down and talking about his organization and his life and what he's doing. And we're going to have guests every week. As I said, on Friday we have our relationship show, and our guest is going to be Sister Cynthia Muse, and our relationship theme is going to be mothers and sons. And so I'd like to encourage all the mothers who have sons, to tune in on Friday night. And remember, our Friday night show starts at 8 p.m. So it's going to be from 8 to 9. And if it's a serious show, we might extend it a little bit, because folks are really getting into the show tonight, and we hate to end it, but we do have a format. So definitely not only tune in, but share the podcast. We want to build this, we want to be on Spotify and SoundCloud, and
but that got to be the help by the people. The people got to make it happen.
Yes.
To make it happen. If y'all, I saw a lot of comments, man, and this was that's what the brother said. Yes, embracing the sisters, most definitely. That's right.
We've definitely got to do that.
Positive energy. We putting it out there.
We have to be the role models. And I say there's role models in every community. There's leaders in every community. Don't be waiting on leadership. You be a leader. So as always, in closing, I want to say peace, power, and respect. Love those who are in your circle, and find ways to build your community. That's what this podcast, that's what this show is truly about. How can, as a community, we find ways to build our community? We find ways to embrace each other. We find ways to communicate with each other and support each other. We need to realize that we are seriously a community. We are not just a bunch of houses in neighborhoods. That's not what a community is. A community is people who have shared hopes and dreams and aspirations and are collectively and individually working toward those goals and dreams. When you walk down any street in Philadelphia, you find folks who want to live a better life. We have to help each other do that. We have to seriously think every day in how many ways we can contribute to the lives of those around us. We'll look forward to seeing you this coming Friday night at 8 o'clock. This is the TCRC Community Podcast. Thank you for being a part of it. Come back to us soon. Peace.